Hi, welcome to my video. I have to open up my application and minimize it because GNOME does not want to have a system tray. Speaking of system tray, GNOME's actually going to be putting back the status icon. That's what they call the system tray. They call it the status icon. And the status icon will actually be a package, and it'll be an official extension by GNOME to give users legacy system tray. So that should be coming. I heard it's going to be a package coming in with GNOME 47. It's going to be like you see this applet here is called System Information or whatever, or something like that. And it's an extension of an official extension from GNOME, and they're gonna have the status icon. Well, actually, they're gonna give it back to us. A lot of people say that this extension is not as good as the ones that they have now for extensions. So I don't know. What I think is that they do have this background app thing, but it only works with Flatpak applications. People are like saying like, oh, like I get the background thing like on my notification or status, what you want to call it. Usually it's right here, but it only works with Flatpak. It does not work with any other applications that are not Flatpak. So I don't know what's the deal with that, but anyways, so yeah, I am using GNOME. I'm not really too impressed with the developers, but I will say that I do like GNOME because it is a very stable desktop. It works really good with Wayland, and I do like the workflow. I like their workspace switcher. I like how the workspace, like how you can it's very dynamic, and you can I just prefer their workspace. Like the way they do their workspace in a desktop is probably the best than any other desktop I ever used. Neither Windows, Mac OS, KDE, tile window managers. I find GNOME does the best when it comes to virtual desktops. And I gotta say, one good thing about GNOME, well, actually, probably more than one good thing about GNOME. GNOME is very stable. I never get any bugs. And like I'm serious. Like I've been using GNOME for a long time. And I never really had issues with GNOME ever, like even with X11, but even on Wayland, I never had any issues. The only time I actually did have issues was with NVIDIA GPU, but with an AMD GPU, like I had no problems whatsoever. KDE, on the other hand, I had a lot of issues with KDE, and I also don't really support KDE because I don't like a group of people that basically caters their, they cater to one particular group, and they don't seem to care about the rest of the people, or that's how I take it as. So I feel like if you're not a part of that group, I feel like I'm excluded from like the KDE community because of their woke agenda. I don't agree with it. If I don't agree to their woke agenda, like the KDE community will hate me and call me a Nazi or whatever. They'll probably call me a racist because I don't like them. I don't know. Anyways, they'll probably call me anything. I'm sure a lot of people don't like me anyways, but that's okay. Can't please anybody. Can't please everybody, right? So this video, where this video is supposed to be about? Well, it's a random video because I do a lot of random rants. But Pop! OS is supposed to come out with an alpha today. Apparently, I think August 8th or so. I heard it's going to be an alpha. So I definitely gotta talk. I'm definitely gonna check that out. And it's got to be on my Dell computer because I do have a spare SSD on there. Well, it's not really spare. It has Gen 2 on it. I'm gonna wipe it off because I've been kind of ignoring Gen 2. I do also, like, my main system is on an NVMe disk, which uses Arch Linux, by the way. But I'm just gonna take a break from that, and I'm gonna be testing out Pop! OS on that computer. On my other two computers, this computer here and my gaming PC will always run Arch. I don't have a spare disk. I do have a spare disk, but it's for backup. But I don't have any spare disks to test out Pop! OS, so it's gotta be running Arch Linux. I don't need to run Pop! OS beta or alpha on all my computers. It's an alpha system. I'll test it out on my Dell computer in the living room, and I'll probably do. I'll most likely do a video. I do got a microphone in the living room. It's not the best microphone, but it's doable. I had done some videos there before, so I will basically do a video of my impression of the alpha ISO, and I know it's gonna be buggy, so I'm not gonna complain about it. I'm gonna give System 76 a fair chance. I will give my impression, like just the desktop and just the system as a whole, and I know I will get some bugs with that, but that's to be expected, right? But I mean, I'll give my opinion, like, of the design. I mean, I was using Cosmic on Arch Linux, but I want to get the full Cosmic experience, which is the Pop! OS, the official ISO, their official base, the official packages, the official kernel. Like, I want to just, get the real Pop! OS feel to it, and I want to use the Cosmic desktop on, the OG system. I mean, I could use it on Arch Linux, but that way, like, if there's any problems that I have with Cosmic Desktop, and if it's on the ISO, or, I mean, like, the system that's from the ISO of the official System 76 ISO, then I can report bugs, and it's bugs towards that system in particular. It's not a system on Arch Linux, right? So, because they'll just blame it on Arch Linux, like, oh, it's Arch Linux, blah blah blah. You're running that on Arch Linux when you should be running it on the Pop! OS system. So that's fair. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to basically test their official stuff, right? So if I come into any problems, I'll report the bugs on the official stuff. So yeah. But I hadn't seen no ISO anywhere to download it, so I can't really test it out at the moment. But I really want to test it out. I'm really excited for Cosmic Desktop, and I actually like Pop! OS. I'm not really a big fan of Ubuntu with Snap, but Pop! OS is Ubuntu based, but they don't have any Snap, or not do I remember. I think they use Flatpak, but they just... I don't know what they use, but I don't think they have Snap. I don't think it's like entirely like Ubuntu, but I could be wrong. Who knows? But I know Cosmic Desktop will be on, not just on Ubuntu base. It'll be on a lot of other distributions. So, but I want to test out Pop! OS. I wish Pop! OS would. If Pop! OS would go Debian, that'd probably be a lot. I would find that'd be a lot better than it being on Ubuntu base. But that's a personal opinion. They could also go Arch Linux if they want to, but everybody's doing that. So I think like Pop! OS on Debian stable would be pretty interesting. I would actually really like that. I would actually use a system like that, to be honest. But I'm really excited about Pop! OS, and I really want to test out that new ISO, and I think the developers are doing a good job. I think I've been using a little bit of Cosmic in the past, a few days ago as well, and I gotta say, for a desktop that's built from scratch, it's well done. They're doing better progress than what XFCE4 is doing, and Cinnamon and Budgie. I find they've done it from scratch, man. It's weight on base. They got their own toolkit. They got their own compositor. It's all built on Rust. It's beyond. I'm actually very impressed with what this team does. And like they're really good developers, and they actually really talk to the community. And you know they're not like GNOME. They're very transparent. Like they talk back to the community. They're very like the pop OS team or the System 76 team. Like are awesome people. I it was that's only good things to say about them because I never experienced anything bad with the community or the developers like with System 76. And I am pretty impressed with their system. For like where they are right now, like it's looking good, and I know Cosmic Desktop's gonna be a pretty good desktop environment. I probably just it's Copium because all of us Linux users are looking for a very decent desktop environment because GNU Linux is pretty much suffering with that at this point, right? Especially with Wayland's being more forced to just use Wayland. I like Wayland. I want to stick on Wayland. That's why I don't use any like old tile window managers anymore or OpenBox. I used to love these window managers a lot. I use them all the time. DWM, awesome. i3, you name it, I use it. MCWM, TWM, CWM, Flexbox, Blackbox. I don't know. All of it. I use them all. I tried them all. You name it, I tried it. I use it. Riced it. Riced them all. Yeah, the X11 days for me has been gone for a long while. I always had a very hateful relationship with X11 or Xorg. I always had problems with it. I'm really glad for Wayland. I am. I think Wayland is. People's like, well, Wayland's been around since 2012 or blah 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 blah. Yeah, but I think Wayland's a lot better than Xorg when it comes to display server. I think Wayland is actually really good. I know it's like a very like it's made for today's computers, right? Like it relies a lot on the GPU instead of the client side, like what Xorg does. And I find like things load up faster, it's more snappier. I just think that the system works very like when it comes to loading up applications. People say like Xorg is just as good, but honestly, to be honest, I really like Wayland. I see a difference, and I think GNOME actually does a very good implementation with Wayland. It actually works really well. Like Mutter works really good on Wayland, and I think that it's great compared to like Cinnamon. Cinnamon is not like I don't know. Cinnamon to me, I like it. I like the simplicity of it, but it's too much like Windows that I like it, I don't like it. You know what I mean? I like GNOME because it feels like a Linux desktop, you know what I mean? Like it's like it's a little bit of everything really. You know, it's a little bit of Mac OS, a little bit of Windows, maybe not so much Windows at all. I don't see much Windows. More like Mac OS. I would say similar to probably some tablet, like Linux tablet systems, like UI. But I don't really consider it more like it is touch friendly, but I don't think that's a bad thing really. Like a lot of devices have touch screens. Steam Deck would actually be really good with GNOME, to be honest, over KDE. I'd rather use GNOME over KDE on SteamOS. Like I think GNOME would be a better choice of a desktop for SteamOS, to be honest, because it does have touchscreen, but like just the big buttons stuff like that. And it's also good for people that has like like it's good for just accessibility. I don't know. People call it. I said it too in the past. It's kind of like a tablet system, but it's not really like a tablet system. I find the way GNOME is made, it's made for all kind of device. It wants to be a universal desktop, and that's fine. It'll work on mobile. It'll work on tablets. It'll work on laptops, desktops. I mean, like. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think the API UI choice that the GNOME team is doing, it's actually really good. The only thing I don't like when it comes to a desktop, for me personally, is system tray. For tablets and mobile, maybe desktop icons are not, system tray is not so needed, right? But when it comes to like a desktop, I think it's something that it is needed, right? Until like applications don't rely on background application, or like a widget or whatever, like then sure, like I wouldn't care for the system tray. I mean, it's not like I ever always care too much about the system tray, because a lot of times the system tray would be for your network, for your audio, and like lock screen or power off and all that stuff. And GNOME actually has that like built into the shell, so I mean, don't really need a system tray for that. Normally, that's what I would use. Like when I use DWM, like for a system tray, it'd be mostly for network, audio, and log off or power off or restart button. And that's basically by default. GNOME has that on their panel. So, and like that's cool. But they are missing like application icons. Like OBS, I use it for like I like to have it minimized when I'm doing a desktop recording like this, and I like to just not have to pop up the application, because it's just kind of like gets in the way with my video, and it's like kind of like not showing the desktop, but whatever, it doesn't bother me. But when it comes to closing applications like Discord and Steam, they're still there. If you quit it on Dash, it's still gonna be like, it still will be there. Like when you hit quit on Dash for those applications, the system tray icons are still there. You don't see it because it doesn't have the system tray or status icon. So you have to kill the process either in a terminal or in a system monitor program, and that's kind of shitty. And that's what I think. That's why they're bringing back the status icon so people can use it, because it is needed still. And I'm glad GNOME is actually making an official, or they're releasing an official extension for the status icons, so that way it will be packaged up with distributions. Like so when you install GNOME on a particular distribution like Arch Linux or whatever distribution it is, at least they'll have that system-wide kind of built-in extension, which that icon will be there eventually. Like, I'll show you. For example, like we have these system extensions. These are extensions that comes with when you install GNOME on Arch Linux. So like this here is the official extension system monitor. So it's that there. So it will be there. So like, I'm thinking that icon will be in this system extension. It won't be like something you have to install. It'll be out of the box. You just, if you need it, you can enable it through the the extension application program. So you can just basically load it up, and it will be there. Alright guys, that's my rant. So my next video, I'm just making this video here, just let you guys know that I know I don't make videos every day, or like it's always like a video and then I make one like a few days later or a few weeks later. You know what I mean? It's not always consistent, and I'm busy a lot. I do work 40 hours a week, so I don't always feel like doing YouTube content stuff. But I will definitely be testing out Pop! OS, and I will be doing some videos on that as well. Like I'll do like an actual review, and I mean showing the desktop and everything, like the whole big tour of it. And so yeah, so get ready for that. That should be a good video. I'll do a good video for you guys with Pop! OS. Because I'm probably going to be doing a lot of it. I'm going to be doing a lot of testing, and I'm really excited because it's alpha testing time now for Pop! OS, and I want to be a tester. Anyways, guys, have a good one. Cheers. Yeah, I have to open this up. This is pointless. Like, if we had a session tray here, I could have just stopped the video a long time ago. Cheers.